Geometry Dash. Where do I begin? This game has completely changed my life. It gave me an outlet to be myself. I've played this game to my heart's content, and I've accomplished some great things, both as a kid and as an adult. I made friends that I cherish so deeply that I wouldn't be surprised if they were invited to be at my wedding one day. Most importantly though, it was a huge influence in turning me into who I am today. The amazing thing is that there are thousands of people just like me. So many others have their own individual story that branches away from one another. Everyone has a way to express themselves. You can try to become one of the best players in the world and join current superstars like Zoink or Trick. You could become a star grinder, beat every rated level in the game, and end up like Smithy. Or you could become the person to build levels for people to beat and one day create visual marvels like Cockmock and Change of Scene. Or you can just say to hell with it and make whatever this is. There are very few games that share creative freedom like this. I know this is going to sound weird at first, but Geometry Dash reminds me a lot of Minecraft. In both games, you have a pretty basic directive. In Minecraft, it's kill the Ender Dragon, and in Geometry Dash, it's beat the level. On the surface, both of these games are pretty simple. What turns these two games into such masterpieces is what you can do with the tools that are provided to you. In Minecraft, you can build these amazing contraptions that make you question if you're watching the same game. You can build houses that make me wish I was living there instead of here in the real world. In a way, the same applies to Geometry Dash. I mean, look, someone literally made Minecraft in Geometry Dash. You could even go into the Nether or go into the Deep Dark. It's crazy. There's so much room for interpretation and creativity that it shocks me every time I see something new. When I was little, I thought the game was much simpler. I installed the light version of GD on my iPhone 4 after watching an older classmate play this level called Theory of Everything. I later found out that I had quite a talent for the game, so I eventually bought the full version. Soon enough, I ended up becoming the best player at my school, and after I beat Theory of Everything 2, which was the final main level, I thought I was done. There were no more levels to play. That was until one day I watched one of my friends play an online level. The level that I saw was called Beginning of Time by Viprin. Today, it's just another random 1.9 level, but it has a very special place in my heart. It paved a road for me that I had no idea about. There were online levels and millions of them. As long as you wanted to play, there was always content waiting for you. There were levels that were way harder than Clubstep. Cataclysm just came out, and this doesn't even look possible. But look, there's someone doing it right now. I thought that Rod Top's levels were the best visually in the game, but here comes Funny Game publishing Death Moon, which was a level where the whole community had to take a step back and question what was possible with the editor. I had just discovered a new world, and in the back of my head, I knew that I was never gonna leave. Of course, I tried to build my own levels. My very first was called Springtrap, which has no relation to Five Nights at Freddy's 3, I promise. It has no real block design, I had no idea how to change the background so it was just white for half the level. While it was a mess that I was proud of. I never really strived to be a creator, but someone commented on that level, and they said that they loved it and that I had potential to be something special one day. I have no idea who that commenter was who said that, but I hope that if they saw me today, that they'd be proud. Regardless, after the level, I realized that my true potential in this game was to be a player. The first online demon level that I remember playing was called Problematic. I remember grinding this level on my iPad every morning before going to summer camp. I wanted to be like Riot or Gyron David and be the best in the world. It always took me a little bit, but I beat every level that I came across. That was until I stumbled across Electrodynamics V2. I have no shame in saying that this level broke me as a kid. It made me realize that if I wanted to be the best, I had a long way to go. In fact, I didn't know if I could ever become better. I was worried that this was my peak and I could never beat anything harder than this. Could I ever be great? Will I ever amount to anything? These thoughts whirled around my head, and to be honest, it got to me. It's not that I didn't expect a challenge, it's more that I didn't expect it to be such a steep hill to climb. You know, ever since I was a kid, it was always pretty easy to get in my head. I overthink things very easily, and sometimes failing at a stupid level could take a toll on me. What I realized though is that when you struggle, it makes finishing the job even more satisfying. So I've talked a lot about the highs of this game, but as my story indicates, there are just as many lows. In order to get something, you have to work for it, and that applies to both playing and creating. This level is called Bloodbath, and many years ago, it was the hardest level in the game. It took Riot months to beat it. You'd be mistaken if you thought it was easy for him though. He struggled and had self-doubt, and everyone was there to watch him go through it. Even the game's developer was there to watch this moment in history. He died at the end of the level and everywhere in between, but Riot kept his chin up and eventually verified a level that was the hardest in the world for a near record amount of months. In contrast, this level is called Glorious Fortress. It came out just a year ago and it's much easier than Bloodbath. The person who made this level is called Jam Attack, and even though it was a different struggle, he went through the exact same thing that Riot did. This level is absolutely beautiful, but he still had to fully make it from the ground up. He strained himself building it and made some videos about it too. It took him an unbelievable 500 hours to build this one 2-minute level. I can't imagine taking that long to just do one thing. I'm sure many of you can't either. My point is that this game isn't easy. Really, nothing is if you think about it. If you want to reach a goal, you have to work for it. You have to push yourself as Riot did. You need that little extra perseverance as Jam Attack did. It was a hard lesson for me to learn, but when I did, and when I pushed myself further than I thought I could, I beat Electrodynamics V2. There are countless stories like ours, and I think that's what makes this game beautiful. I could go to a random page on the Rated Levels tab, and there's a story behind every single play button that's there. Someone has an idea and thinks it's worthy of being used. They open the editor where the only limitation is their imagination. They build the structure of the gameplay and then they turn that shell into something beautiful. Even if it's generic low level number 267, there's still some kind of thought that goes behind every single level. Even in the recent tab where there's a bunch of jump pads and portals placed everywhere has some kind of story. I bet you that the creator of this level specifically is some kid who just found out about the game's editor and he thought it was funny that he could spam whatever he wanted to, and he wanted to share that with the whole world. Just thinking about all the stories that we'll never know as a community puts a smile to my face. Now there's one question that I've avoided that's honestly stumped me, and that question is why? Why does all of this exist? Why are there thousands of people who decided that this place was their home for creativity? Why is there still a thriving community? Well, to answer that, we need to look into the wonderful world of game mechanics, and what better way to start than by looking at level 1. In my opinion, Stereo Madness is the perfect introductory level. Plenty of other people have made 20-minute videos talking about the game's mechanics, so I'll keep it brief. You only need one button to play the game. That one button can either be your mouse, up arrow, spacebar, or just your phone screen if you're on mobile. Depending on what game mode you're in, that input does different things. If you're the cube, you just do a little jump. If you turn into a robot, the longer you click, the further you jump. The UFO makes it so you can click mid-air, essentially turning it into a weird version of Flappy Bird. Then there's the ball, where if you click, it goes up or down. Spider game mode also goes up and down, but it basically teleports you so you can be more precise. The ship is an interesting one. Basically, the longer you hold, the further you go up. When you let go, you go down. The swing is basically the same as the ship, but instead of holding, you click once and it goes up and down in a fluid motion. Now, what if I told you that what I just said was scratching the surface? There are jump pads, jump orbs, gravity portals that invert your controls, or whatever is happening here. There's so much that I can't explain without it all hurting my head. Okay, I want you to imagine this. Think about everything that I just told you and try to imagine it as a platformer. Because guess what? Geometry Dash is a platformer game now too. You can move left and right and still go up and down with the ball. Everything is still intact, but now you can fight a boss with a health bar. And oh no, it's Terraria now. Platformer mode is still brand new, so we haven't fully cracked the code on it, but I'm sure it won't be long until we make Doom and maybe even Minecraft itself. Wouldn't that be crazy? The amazing part about Geometry Dash is that almost none of these mechanics are bad. Every single one of these features is fleshed out and tuned to perfection. There isn't a single game mode that I feel is inherently bad. I've never died in a level and thought to myself that this was a bad game and it's RobTop's fault that I'm not having fun. It is masterfully built for both the game and the community. One more thing. I don't think I'd be doing this game justice if I didn't talk about its music. Geometry Dash's soundtrack and user levels primarily consist of a genre that us folks call EDM, or if you're uncultured, dubstep. Before GD, I hadn't listened to a single EDM song in my life, but simply because of this game, it's one of my favorite genres. Here's Cataclysm, which was the hardest level in the world a really long time ago. This level is intense. It's throwing all of the game mechanics at you, and if you're not good at a single one, you have no hope for beating this level. The song that this level uses is called At the Speed of Light by Dim Rain 47, and this song perfectly encapsulates the feeling that this level is going for. The intense start, the suspenseful lows in the middle, and the nerve-wracking ending. Cataclysm is a nearly perfect level, and this song does a lot of the heavy lifting in that. Song choice is one of the biggest decisions that a creator has. It can make a level intense, it can make a level laid back and chill, or it can end up like Hungry Humphrey and make you confused by the end of it. Either way, music is a key component to this game. I'm not going to say that I understand music theory or the intricacies of it, but I appreciate good music. And boy, do I love Geometry Dash's music. In complete honesty, I've taken this game for granted. At this stage of my life, I don't really play video games anymore. The only game that I play is this one, and I think there's a good reason for that. Whenever this game gets stale for me, a level like Glorious Fortress or Change of Scene comes out that reinvents my love for this game. In all honesty, I don't know if I'll ever not love this game. Every time I think I've opened it for the last time, it sucks me back in and I enjoy it more than I ever have. There's so much about this game that I love that simply can't be put into words. There were moments in this game's history where you just had to be there to understand the magnitude of it. Even if you reset your save, you can only free the monster in the basement that Rob forgot about the next update once. You can only experience this game once, and that's why I love it. I don't know if anything that I said in this video made any sense, but if anything, it's simply my love letter to the game. I love Geometry Dash. I love this community. I love its creation, I love its gameplay, and I'm just happy that it exists in the first place.